Welcome back to the deep dive. Really glad you could join us today. Settle in, make yourself comfortable, like you're right at home.
Good to be here.
Today, we're embarking on a really crucial exploration. It's something that touches, well, the financial pulse of pretty much everyone.
It really does.
The topic is the psychology of saving. How to defeat hyperbolic discounting and finally build your emergency fund.
Yeah, and it's a journey into what can feel, frankly, like a super frustrating world.
Yeah.
Personal finance, it often feels counterintuitive.
Totally.
So our mission today, it isn't just about defining terms. We really want to peel back the layers of why. Why does saving feel so incredibly difficult for, well, so many of us? We want to expose those hidden psychological forces, the ones that seem to actively work against our best intentions, and maybe most importantly, arm you with practical, genuinely actionable strategies.
Right. Things you can actually do.
Exactly. The goal is to empower you, really, to outsmart your own brain, if you like, and build that kind of financial resilience that, brings real peace of mind.
And you might be surprised by some of the facts we dig into.
Oh, definitely. And some relatable stories, too. It shows just how deep these challenges run.
That's precisely it. So let's just jump right in. Let's talk about what we're calling the invisible battlefield of saving. To really get a handle on this challenge, let's start with, well, a dose of reality. It can feel quite isolating if you're struggling to save, right?
Very much so.
But the statistics, they paint a very different picture. It's a widespread issue. There was this concerning report from Emmy Bank back in 2022 looking at Australian households.
I remember that one.
Yeah, it revealed that a staggering 1 in 5, that's 22% of households, had less than $1,000 in cash savings.
Just 1,000. Wow.
Yeah. And get this, 11% had less than $100.
Oof. That's basically living on the edge, isn't it? Nothing to fall back on.
Exactly. And while these specific numbers are Australian, the underlying psychology, the patterns they show, we see this echoed everywhere in many developed economies. It's a global struggle. The same report also pointed out that around 25% of single parents admitted they regularly dip into emergency savings, often because the emergency is just, an everyday expense they couldn't otherwise cover.
And it's so easy, isn't it, to look at those numbers or your own situation and just feel this wave of guilt.
Oh, yeah.
Instantly, like it's a personal failing, lack of willpower, maybe irresponsibility. But what's absolutely crucial to get here is that this isn't primarily about being lazy or, bad with money.
Right. It's bigger than that.
It really is. This is a widespread, almost systemic challenge. And it's driven by some very deep-seated psychological patterns, things ingrained in our human nature. There are these profound underlying reasons why saving feels so incredibly hard today. Reasons that go way beyond just not trying hard enough.
We're up against something quite fundamental.
We are. We're up against powerful evolutionary forces, actually.
Okay, well, to bring this home, let me share a story. It's a story that, honestly, in different forms, probably resonates with a lot of people listening. It's about Maya. So Maya, she earned a decent salary, on paper, enough to get ahead. But despite that, she consistently found herself living paycheck to paycheck.
Familiar story.
Right. She had some credit card debt, not like a mountain of it, but enough that it was always there, like this low-grade hum of anxiety in the background. A weight.
That constant pressure.
Exactly.
Okay.
And her savings account, well, it was more like a temporary holding zone for money before it just vanished. She genuinely tried to save, set up automatic transfers, the whole thing.
So you had the intention.
Absolutely. But then something always seemed to come up. Maybe the car needed unexpected repairs, or, her best friend's getting married, got to buy a flight for the bachelorette party, a new outfit.
Life happens.
It does. And sometimes it wasn't even a true emergency. It was just life, like a super stressful week at work, and suddenly that expensive dinner out with colleagues, it didn't feel like a want anymore. It felt like an urgent need, for comfort.
That emotional spending trigger. Or maybe feeling a bit lonely after a breakup, and that new dress feels like a quick fix for the ache.
Exactly that kind of thing. Then, one Tuesday morning, Maya wakes up with this throbbing toothache.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the kind you just cannot ignore, demands immediate attention. She calls her dentist, gets in, and the diagnosis is clear. Urgent. Emergency root canal.
Ouch. And expensive.
The cost, a staggering $2,000.
What?
And as the receptionist said the words, Maya just felt this wave of nausea. $2,000, she didn't have it.
That sinking feeling.
Totally. She checked her savings, maybe $300 in there, the rest. She knew instantly it had to go straight onto her credit card, adding to the debt she was already struggling with.
Doubling down on the problem, essentially.
Right. So that afternoon, sitting in the dentist's chair, going through the procedure, the physical pain in her mouth, it was almost nothing compared to the emotional pain she was feeling. The shame, the guilt, that feeling of being a financial failure. She's 28, professional, good job. She felt like she should have had this handled. She should have had an emergency fund.
That shit's so heavy, isn't it?
It is. And as the dentist worked, tears just streamed down her face. Not from the drilling, but from that pain in her heart. The pain of feeling trapped, feeling like she was always just one small, unexpected thing away from total financial disaster.
That feeling of powerlessness, it's
Well,
brutal.
Maya's story, or some version of it, is probably true for so many people listening right now. Maybe for you it wasn't a root canal. Maybe it was a vet bill, or the car breaking down again, or a cracked phone screen, or suddenly losing your job.
It could be anything.
But that core feeling, that heart-sinking moment when you're hit with an unexpected expense and, deep down you just don't have the money to cover it without digging yourself deeper, that feeling is universal.
It really is, that vulnerability.
And it's precisely that feeling we want to tackle today. Because the first step to solving any problem is really understanding its roots. And the problem, like you said, it isn't just being lazy or irresponsible. The problem is that our brains, while amazing, are wired in ways that make saving incredibly difficult, especially in the world we live in now.
A mismatch, really.
So, okay, let's unpack this core concept. It's at the heart of so many of our financial struggles. Hyperbolic discounting.
Sounds complicated.
It does sound academic, yeah, but it's actually quite simple and honestly incredibly relatable once you get it.
Okay.
In essence, it just describes our deep-seated tendency, our impulse, to prefer smaller, sooner rewards over larger, more substantial rewards that are further away in time.
Right. The bird in the hand.
Kind of. Now, It's normal to discount future rewards a little bit. Like inflation exists, right? $1 today buys more than $1 next year. That's rational discounting.
I'm sure that makes sense.
But hyperbolic discounting is the irrational part. It's when that preference for right now becomes so overwhelmingly strong that it works directly against our own long-term best interests. It leads to choices we often regret later.
That's a really crucial distinction. Because the core issue, like you said, is that we humans are just powerfully biased towards the immediate payoff rather than the later one. And when you grasp that fundamental bit of human psychology, it suddenly becomes crystal clear why saving for something abstract in the future like retirement, or even just that emergency fund, is so profoundly hard.
It feels less real.
Exactly. We are wired, literally wired, to crave immediate gratification, even if, logically, we know it means we'll have significantly less later on.
So it's like our brains haven't caught up with modern finance.
Pretty much. We're running, Stone Age software on modern hardware. Our ancient, deeply ingrained instinct is still prioritize the immediate tangible reward.
Like finding food right now versus planning for winter.
Precisely. That's why the sheer pleasure of buying, say, a new pair of shoes today or enjoying a spontaneous, maybe expensive dinner tonight feels so much more compelling, so much more real than the distant abstract security of a fully funded emergency fund maybe years down the line.
The shoes are here. The fund is out there somewhere.
Right. The shoes or the dinner are the deer meat, tangible, immediate, satisfying that survival instinct. The emergency fund is the vague hope of a future meal that might or might not happen. On a primal subconscious level, your brain is still screaming, seize the immediate reward.
Wow. So it's not a character flaw?
Not at all. It's an evolutionary mismatch. We all struggle with it.
And this isn't just a philosophical idea, right? Neuroscientists have actually seen this happening.
Yeah, absolutely. They've observed this tug of war inside our brains. When we think about immediate rewards, that new gadget, the spontaneous trip, the emotional pleasure-seeking parts of our brain, especially the limbic system, they just light up.
The feel-good part.
Exactly. There's that surge of dopamine, that rush of, I want it now, that feels so irresistible. But then when we consider long-term rewards, saving for retirement, putting money aside for a house deposit, the more rational, analytical, future-thinking parts, like the prefrontal cortex, they get activated.
The planner brain.
The planner brain, yeah. So that internal struggle we feel to save, to delay gratification, it's quite literally a biological tug of war between these two distinct brain systems.
One side has a built-in advantage.
A big one. Because of our evolutionary history where immediate survival was everything, that emotional, impulsive part of our brain has a huge head start. It's faster, it's stronger, and it's been running the show for a very, very long time. It makes it a really formidable opponent in the battle for our financial future.
Wow.
It's like trying to reason with a hungry toddler using, complex calculus. The emotional brain just reacts faster and louder.
So what's the key then? Just give up.
No. The key is to acknowledge this, understand it,
Yeah.
and then design your environment, your financial habits, so that this quick, powerful reflex actually serves your long-term goals instead of sabotaging them.
Working with the wiring, not just fighting it.
Exactly. You're not fighting against yourself, but working with how your brain is wired.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting because hyperbolic discounting, powerful as it is, it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Right. There's more going on.
Yeah, there are several other common cognitive biases, these psychological barriers that actively sabotage our financial health. They make that uphill battle even steeper. First, there's the pervasive issue of instant gratification.
Mm-hmm. The classic.
This is that primal urge for immediate pleasures fueled by that emotional dopamine-driven brain we just talked about. It can so easily just overwhelm the logical side, the one trying to say, hey, maybe you don't need those shoes right now, or that pricey dinner, maybe skip it this week.
Yeah, the logical voice gets drowned out.
It does. It's why, for so many people, an unexpected bonus check is way more likely to fuel a shopping spree than get tucked away into a retirement plan or an emergency fund. The immediate reward just feels so much more real and satisfying.
Absolutely. And then, layered on top of that, you've got the incredibly powerful pull of digital envy and FOMO, the fear of missing out.
Ah, yes, social media.
Social media has drastically amplified our innate human drive for social status and that constant pressure of keeping up with the Joneses.
It's relentless.
It really is.
Right.
In the past, maybe you'd only hear about a friend's amazing vacation or their new car occasionally, at a dinner party or something.
Right, sporadic updates.
Now, we are bombarded daily, hourly sometimes, with these curated pictures and videos online. This constant, idealized highlight reel of what everyone else is buying, experiencing, achieving.
And it looks effortless for them.
Exactly. And this relentless digital envy can be incredibly hard to resist. It creates this pervasive feeling that everyone else is doing better than me.
Yeah, I can see that.
There was a Harris poll back in 2016, for instance, found that a significant 1 in 4 people actually admitted feeling jealous after seeing someone post about a purchase or vacation online.
Wow, 1 in 4 admitted it. Probably more felt it.
Probably. It speaks to that deep desire to signal success or reinforce our sense of belonging, or maybe just avoid feeling left out. And this pressure often compels us to spend money we don't actually have, just to project an image or chase experiences that honestly provide pretty fleeting satisfaction.
Okay, so instant gratification, FOMO. What else?
And then there's a particularly insidious one, optimism bias. This is a powerful psychological blind spot.
Explain that.
It's our natural tendency to believe that bad things won't happen to us, or that somehow we'll just magically navigate out of any crisis that might pop up.
Yeah.
It's that comforting but often dangerous feeling of, it can't happen to me.
Right. I'll be fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We all tend to think we're above average, don't we? Above average drivers, above average intelligence.
Statistically impossible.
Totally impossible. And certainly above average in our ability to avoid financial misfortune. This bias can lead us to rationalize not having an emergency fund because, well, why would I need one? Everything will be fine. I'll figure it out.
Until it isn't fine.
Until it isn't. Maya's story is a perfect, stark reminder of optimism bias. She probably never thought she'd be the one caught out by a dental emergency that spirals into financial distress. It's easy to assume the best, but life, as we know, often has other plans.
Okay, so our brains are wired against us with these ancient biases. Hyperbolic discounting, instant gratification, FOMO, optimism bias. Quite the cocktail.
It is a potent mix.
But it's not just an internal struggle, is it? We're also living in a modern world that seems almost perfectly designed to exploit those very biases.
Oh, absolutely.
Making spending money easier, more frictionless than ever before. This almost effortless spending creates a real, tangible trap for our finances.
You're spot on. Think about it. Contactless payments, digital wallets, your credit card details saved in every online store, one-click purchasing.
Tap and go, click and buy.
Exactly. You can literally buy almost anything you want in mere seconds, often without even consciously registering how much you're actually spending.
It doesn't feel like real money sometimes.
That's a huge part of it. The sheer ease and speed are astonishing, and frankly, they contribute significantly to our financial challenges. That RBA payment system report for 2023 you mentioned earlier, it shows how much this has accelerated in Australia, and we see similar trends globally.
What were the numbers again?
In 2023, it was 730 electronic transactions per person on average.
Wow.
That's more than doubled from about 330 just a decade earlier.
Doubled.
Yeah, it means the average person can easily make like more than 5 card payments in a single day without even really thinking about it.
5 taps, just like that.
And this frictionless spending, it really fuels the problem because it removes the pain of paying. That little bit of friction that used to act as a natural brake on our impulses.
Like handing over actual cash, you feel it leave your hand?
Precisely. There's a tangible loss, a moment of friction, forces a micro decision. Tapping a card or clicking buy now online, it removes that sensory experience, makes the money feel less real, less painful to part with. So it's incredibly easy to overspend without even a second thought.
And it's not just the easy swiping or tapping, it's also the hidden drain. Expenses many of us just don't track.
The stealth spending.
Yeah. Most of us, if we're honest, we genuinely don't know precisely where all our money is going, especially with the explosion of direct debits.
Oh, the direct debits. Death by 1,000 tiny cuts.
Right. You might have like 3 different TV streaming services because you tried a free trial and forgot to cancel.
Or that gym membership you signed up for in January with the best intentions. Still paying for it in August.
Haven't been in months. Or your phone bill gets debited, but you have no idea if there's a better deal out there.
Or, and this is increasingly common, maybe you're paying off several buy now, pay later purchases, but they've just kind of faded into the background noise of your monthly budget.
They don't feel like debt in the same way.
Exactly. It's a scenario we see constantly, and it's particularly insidious because, like I said, it's death by 1,000 cuts. I actually worked with a client recently, high earner, really should have been saving a lot, but consistently had nothing left over.
Where was it going?
We went through their bank statements, line by line, painstakingly. And they made this shocking discovery, a monthly direct debit for a magazine subscription.
Okay.
That was still being sent to an old address they'd moved out of years ago.
No way.
Yes, they canceled it immediately, obviously, but it just highlighted how easily these unnoticed expenses pile up. Especially if you earn a decent amount, the urgency to track every single dollar might not feel as strong.
Complacency creeps in.
It does. And beyond that, the whole buy now, pay later, BNPL culture, things like Afterpay, Klarna, they strongly encourage that treat yourself attitude.
Makes big purchases seem small.
Right. It blurs the lines between wants and needs. BNPL really preys on that instant gratification impulse. It frames debt as just a flexible payment plan, makes larger purchases seem affordable by breaking them into smaller chunks, often obscures the total cost or the potential hit from late fees.
And with prices going up.
Exactly. With inflation making everything more expensive, more shoppers, especially younger generations, are turning to these schemes. They offer that immediate hit of gratification, but often at the significant cost of future financial flexibility and security.
It's true, we've all felt it. In our daily lives, just everyday expenses feel undeniably greater now. There's this widespread feeling that money just doesn't go as far.
That's not just a feeling. It's the harsh reality for most people globally right now.
Yeah.
Let's take a really concrete example. Premium fuel prices. In Australia, June 2023, premium fuel hit 222 cents per liter.
Ouch.
Now, compare that to 2001. Back then, you'd pay just 89 cents per liter.
Wow, less than half?
More than twice as much for a tank of fuel in just over 20 years. Inflation, whether it's slow and steady or rapid like we've seen recently, it's a constant economic force. And one of the biggest issues lately is that wage growth just hasn't consistently kept pace with it.
So your paycheck buys less.
Exactly. It directly erodes our purchasing power. The rising cost of goods and services makes it inherently harder for everyone to save, even if their nominal income, the dollar amount, stays the same or goes up a bit.
Is there any light at the end of the tunnel on that front?
Well, there is some potentially good news. The Australian Human Resources Institute's March Outlook reported that wages, excluding bonuses, are expected to increase by about 3.7% in the 12 months to January 2025.
Okay, that's something.
And inflation is moderating. It's expected to get back into that target range of 2–3% by 2025. So that offers a more positive outlook for future purchasing power and hopefully the ability to save.
Okay, fingers crossed. But even with potential wage growth, if inflation and rising costs weren't enough of a headwind, credit card debt, It remains a major killer of
Oh,
budgets.
absolutely. A huge one.
It's a real snowballing problem, can quickly overwhelm people. Recent figures from Australia showed nearly $18 billion in credit card debt wrapped up by Australians as of February.
Billion with a B. Yeah. And 12.67 million personal credit card accounts out there. That's almost 300,000 more accounts than just May of last year.
That really signals how many households are struggling, doesn't it? Still paying off holidays, maybe, or covering unexpected costs.
It represents immense financial stress for millions.
And it's such a significant risk because credit cards, they expose you to serious peril if you can't keep up. The average interest rate is around 19%. Some cards are even higher.
19%, that's huge.
It is. Your debt will just balloon rapidly if it's not paid off promptly and in full each month. And what's even more concerning, maybe, is the impact on your credit score.
Ah, right. The dreaded credit score.
Yeah. A report back in 2019 highlighted just how severe it can be. Your score can drop by 22% if you miss just one credit card repayment by more than 14 days, even if you'd never missed one before.
Just one late payment, 22% drop.
Yep. And if you miss 3 or more repayments within 3 months, that impact skyrockets, a massive 42% drop.
Wow. That basically slams the door on getting other loans, right? Pretty much. And a payment is considered missed if it's over 14 days late. That negative mark stays on your report for 2 years. If you're more than 60 days late and the payment's over $150, you might get a default listed, which is even more serious long term.
Okay, so debt is dangerous, but is all debt created equal?
That's a great question. No, not all debt is inherently bad. It's useful to understand the different types. You've got consumer debt. That's typically used to buy things that don't increase in value or generate income. You know, the shoes, the dinner, maybe a holiday.
Things that are consumed.
Exactly. Then there's equity building debt, like a mortgage for a home or maybe a loan for a renovation that increases the home's value. The asset itself has the potential to grow over time.
Okay, makes sense.
And finally, there's income-generating debt. Things like a bank loan for a business venture, or a student loan for a degree that significantly boosts your earning potential, or maybe a loan to invest in assets that produce income, like shares or property.
So some debt can be an investment.
It can be. Generally speaking, though, if most of your debts are that consumer debt type, it's often wise to prioritize paying those off before you start investing heavily elsewhere. Because those high interest rates, like 19% on a credit card, can quickly wipe out any investment gains you might make.
The interest eats you alive.
It really can, but it's not always a black and white answer. Individual circumstances vary. Sometimes there might be a really compelling investment opportunity, but for most people, tackling high-interest consumer debt first is the way to go.
We also need to touch on the debt-to-income ratio. I hear that term thrown around.
Yeah, it's a really crucial metric. Lenders look at it very closely.
So what's the rule?
Well, there's a general rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Your total monthly debt payments, that includes everything, credit cards, car loans, student loans, mortgage, shouldn't exceed more than 40% of your gross monthly income, your income before tax.
40% max. Why that number?
It's quite practical, really. If you go over 40%, it becomes increasingly difficult to qualify for new loans, lines of credit, or mortgages. Lenders see you as a higher risk. It's a key indicator of your financial health and your capacity to handle more debt.
Good to know. And just quickly, what about interest rates generally? Are they going up, down?
Well, looking ahead, it's worth mentioning interest rate projections briefly because they directly impact how much that debt costs you.
Right.
In places like the US and Canada, for example, after being high for quite a while to fight inflation, the current expectation is that interest rates might start decreasing.
Okay, so debt could get cheaper.
Potentially, yeah. If rates do go down as projected, the cost of borrowing becomes lower. That could provide some much-needed relief and definitely impacts your overall financial strategy. Might free up more cash flow for saving, hopefully. It just shifts the landscape a bit.
Okay. So we've really covered the problem, haven't we? The deep biases in our brains, the modern world that kind of exploits them. It can feel a bit bleak.
It can seem that way, yeah.
But here's the genuinely good news. And this is important. We are not slaves to our instincts.
Absolutely not.
The very fact that we can understand these biases, that we can name them hyperbolic discounting, it means we can start to fight back. We can be strategic.
We can use that rational brain.
Exactly. Use our rational planning brain to outsmart our impulsive, I want it now brain. And the first really powerful antidote to this impulsivity is, well, it's about making your future self more tangible, making them feel more real.
Bridging that gap.
Right. Remember how hyperbolic discounting makes the future feel abstract and distant, so we don't care about it as much?
Yeah, like it's happening to someone else.
So the solution is to actively create a stronger emotional, psychological connection to that future you, the one you're actually saving for.
This is a truly fascinating area. It really bridges psychology and finance. There was this brilliant study, really compelling.
What did they find?
Researchers had participants look at digitally aged photos of themselves, what they might look like decades from now.
Whoa, okay.
And they looked at these photos before making financial decisions. The results were striking, really insightful. The people who saw their older selves, who were visually reminded of the real, living, breathing person they were saving for.
They saved more.
Significantly more. They allocated much more money to their retirement accounts. It made that future self feel less like a stranger, less like an abstract concept, and more like them. A person they cared about, wanted to provide for, wanted to protect.
That's powerful. So how can listeners apply that? We don't all have age progression software.
No, true. But you could do similar things. Actively visualize your future self. Maybe spend some time journaling about your future goals. What does that life look like, feel like? Get really vivid with the details.
Make it sensory.
Exactly. Or even just having regular visual reminders around. A picture of yourself, maybe slightly older if you can find one, or a vision board showing your future home or the activities you want to do in retirement. Anything that helps bridge that psychological gap between your present desires and your future well-being.
See that person not as a stranger, but as you, just further down the road.
Precisely.
Okay, so connect with future you. What's next?
Building on that, one of the most effective strategies, really highly effective for overcoming these biases, is automation.
Set it and forget it.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful because it cleverly leverages another predictable bit of our psychology. Our fondness for the status quo, our inertia.
We stick with the default.
You really do. Once something becomes the default path, the path of least resistance, we're much, much less likely to actively choose to deviate from it.
So automation takes the decision away.
Exactly. It essentially subtracts the need for constant willpower. You don't have to have that daily decision-making battle, that tug of war between wanting something now and needing security later. It takes the decision out of your hands. This idea is beautifully illustrated by the Nobel laureate Richard Thaler's Save More Tomorrow principle.
Set more tomorrow.
Yeah, it was originally designed for retirement saving, but it applies perfectly to building an emergency fund or any saving goal, really. It's broken down into 4 key parts, each leveraging these behavioral insights.
Okay, lay them out.
First, acknowledge their present bias. Because of hyperbolic discounting, most people genuinely prefer saving later rather than starting right now. So the strategy is get them thinking about saving, get them committed early, even if the saving itself starts a bit later.
Get the commitment first.
Right. Second, and this is really clever, increase the savings contributions after people get a pay raise.
So they don't feel the pinch as much.
Exactly. They won't experience a loss in pay because their take-home pay still goes up, just not by the full amount of the raise. Makes it much easier to accept. It reduces the need for self-control. The saving just happens automatically, almost unnoticed.
Sneaky, but effective.
Totally. Third, the contributions are gradually increased over time, maybe by percentage points, until they hit a preset maximum. But the crucial part here is making opting out the active decision, not opting in.
So you have to actively say, no, I don't want to save more.
Precisely. It harnesses the power of inertia, that default behavior. Like that streaming subscription you signed up for ages ago and never quite cancel. Same principle. The default is stay with the program.
Okay, and the fourth part?
And finally, the program always allows you to opt out at any time. You maintain flexibility and control, which actually makes people more likely to sign up in the first place because they don't feel trapped.
Makes sense. So for our listeners, how do they put this automation into practice for their emergency fund, practically speaking?
The most direct way is setting up automatic transfers. Simple as that.
From checking to savings.
Yep. Choose the frequency that works best for you. Maybe weekly, maybe bi-weekly if you get paid that way, or monthly. Align it with your income flow.
And the amount.
It could be a fixed sum you decide on, or even better, a percentage of your income. That way it automatically adjusts if your income changes.
Start small if you need to.
Absolutely. Always start with an amount that feels manageable, even if it's tiny. You can always increase it later as things improve. The key is consistency. And, critically, transfer these funds to a separate savings account.
Not your everyday spending account.
Definitely not. Ideally, one that isn't super easy to access for daily spending. Maybe a high-yield savings account. Lots of banks offer them. They give you a little bit of interest while keeping the money liquid, but separate. Out of sight, out of mind helps a lot.
And setting it up is usually easy online.
Oh yeah, typically very straightforward. Log into your online banking or mobile app, look for transfers or bill pay or something similar. Then find an option like schedule transfer or new recurring transfer.
Okay.
Choose your checking account as the source, your dedicated emergency savings account as the destination. Enter the amount, select the frequency bi-weekly on payday is often good. Set a start date, maybe your very next payday. Confirm it, save it, done. You automated a massive step towards financial security.
Brilliant. What about those roundup apps? Are they useful?
They can be. Apps like Acorns or Capital in the US or similar ones available locally. They automatically round up your everyday purchases to the nearest dollar, say, and transfer that small difference, the cents, into your savings or investment account.
So you save without really noticing.
Exactly. It makes savings subtle, almost invisible, but those small amounts really do add up over time without feeling like a big sacrifice.
Okay, automation is powerful, but what if it's not quite enough? For bigger goals, or when that impulsive brain just screams louder.
Right. Sometimes you need stronger measures. That's where commitment devices come in.
Commitment devices. Sounds serious.
Well, it's about physically or psychologically locking yourself into a decision you've made. Pre-committing, essential.
Okay, explain that.
We can actually take a page from ancient wisdom here. Think of the classic story of Odysseus and the Odyssey.
The sirens.
Exactly. He knew he wouldn't be able to resist the sirens' beautiful, deadly song. He knew his future self, under their spell, would act against his present self's goal, which was to get home safely.
So he tied himself to the mast.
Precisely. He used a commitment device.
Yeah.
He tied himself up, ordered his men to plug their ears and ignore his pleas to be untied. Commitment devices are exactly these kinds of self-binding strategies. They prevent your future impulsive self from acting against your present self's better judgment.
Okay, so how does that apply to finance? Tying ourselves to a chair.
Not quite. But you can do things like assign specific hard deadlines to your saving goals. Makes them feel more urgent, more concrete. You could restrict access to your savings account until a goal amount or date is met. Maybe move the money to an account that requires, say, a 3-day notice period for withdrawals. Just adding that bit of friction.
Makes impulse withdrawals harder.
Right. You could even self-impose penalties if you deviate from your plan.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to donate money to a cause you dislike if you dip into savings unnecessarily. Or create explicit household saving rules with a partner. Hold each other accountable.
What about things like retirement accounts?
Absolutely. Even external things like tax incentives for retirement plans, 401ks in the U.S., pensions elsewhere, they act as a financial commitment device. The immediate tax benefit encourages consistent, long-term contributions. You're less likely to pull money out because of the penalties.
It's like setting your running shoes by the door the night before.
Perfect analogy. Or meal prepping lunches on Sunday. It removes the decision point at the moment when your willpower might be lowest.
Okay, makes sense. But not all choices can be automated or locked down. What about working with our brain's tendency for immediate gratification? Can we game the system?
Yes, we absolutely can. This is where strategies like temptation bundling come in. It's a brilliant concept from behavioral economist Katie Milkman.
Temptation bundling. Intriguing.
It involves cleverly stacking a habit that brings you pleasure. Something you genuinely enjoy, like listening to your favorite podcast, watching a specific guilty pleasure TV show, getting a manicure.
Here's what you want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You stack that with completing a short-term goal that you might otherwise put off, like going for that run, doing your chores, or, importantly here, reviewing your budget or making that savings transfer.
So you only get the reward after you do the task.
That's the key. The pleasure is dependent on completing the goal. You only get to indulge in the temptation once the virtuous task is done. It leverages that desire for immediate reward by attaching it directly to the activity you want to encourage.
I like that. What else?
Another powerful one is visual tracking. It sounds simple, but don't underestimate it.
Like a chart on the fridge.
Could be. The simple, almost primal act of tallying off each short-term goal as it's completed on a chart, a digital app, a whiteboard, it's inherently rewarding. Seeing your progress visually, watching those check marks pile up, it helps maintain motivation. It gives you another satisfying, immediate feedback loop.
Turns an abstract goal into something visible,
Exactly, a visible achievement. And then there's the broader idea of gamification.
making it a game.
Pretty much. It's about introducing immediate psychological rewards, the kind you find in games, into otherwise maybe mundane financial tasks.
Like points or levels.
Yeah, think elements like achieving mastery, maybe unlocking new levels of saving.
Hmm.
Or healthy competition, perhaps, leaderboards with friends who share similar goals. Even just the feeling of winning against your own impulses.
Makes it more fun.
Right.
Yeah.
By making saving more enjoyable, more engaging, and therefore less painful or tedious, gamification can significantly help people reach their goals. There was research from City University of London that found participants using a gamified web app for saving X actually saved a higher percentage of their goal each week compared to a control group.
So it works.
It seems to. You can even self-gamify. Give yourself virtual badges or little rewards for hitting savings milestones. Or set up that leaderboard with friends. It transforms saving from a chore into more of a challenge, leveraging that natural human desire to win and achieve.
Okay, lots of clever tricks there. Now, let's broaden the strategy a bit. We've talked a lot about managing spending and psychology, but what about the other side of the equation, increasing income?
Absolutely crucial. For many people, the first thing to think about is, how can I get more money coming in?
Right. Boost the top line.
Exactly. One of the most direct, most impactful ways to boost your savings, or maybe pay down debt faster, is simply to have more income. So ask yourself, when was the last time you really evaluated your market value and actually asked for a pay raise?
Good question.
Review your options, do some research on industry benchmarks for your role and experience, build a strong case based on your contributions and achievements.
What if a raise isn't possible right now?
Fair point. If a traditional pay rise isn't feasible, maybe due to company policy or the current market, think about your talents, your skills, your hobbies. Could any of them be turned into a side hustle?
The gig economy.
Right. It's easy to underestimate the value of an extra, say, $500 or even $1,000 a month. But that seemingly modest amount can truly make all the difference to your budget, to your savings goals. It could be the difference between treading water and actually making meaningful progress.
Can you give an example of that working?
Sure. Take Alex. He's an accountant, works full-time, stable job, decent salary, but he felt his emergency fund was just growing way too slowly.
Felt stuck.
Yeah. He realized he actually really enjoyed walking dogs, and he had free time evenings and weekends. So he signed up for Rover, one of those online platforms for pet services, started taking a few dog walking gigs in his neighborhood.
Okay.
First month, he earned an extra $300.
Not bad for walking dogs.
Right. And crucially, he was really disciplined. He meticulously transferred that entire amount straight into his escape fund, a separate savings account, totally distinct from his regular income.
Smart move.
Over 6 months, doing this consistently, he added an extra $1,800 to his fund. That significantly cut down the time it would take to reach his goal. And that extra cushion, it proved invaluable when his company unexpectedly announced layoffs a few months later. Gave him immense peace of mind, breathing room. He wasn't scrambling. He had that buffer he'd built.
Wow, that's a great story. Any other quick examples?
Yeah, another one often overlooked is just decluttering. Think of Jane. She wanted to boost her emergency fund quickly, went through her closet, her garage, found old designer clothes she never wore, unused electronics gathering dust.
We all have that stuff.
Totally. She listed the clothes on Poshmark, the electronics on eBay. Within a month, she'd sold items totaling $450.
Just like that.
Just like that. Unexpected windfall, went straight into her emergency fund. Quick, relatively effortless boost, didn't feel like a sacrifice. So these stories just show how proactive income generation, even through seemingly small or one-off things, can really accelerate your progress.
Love it. Okay, so increase income. But we also still need to look at cutting costs, right? Consciously, strategically cutting your personal cost of living.
Absolutely. And this isn't about deprivation. It's not about living like a hermit.
Not eating beans on toast forever.
No, it's about being mindful of your spending. It's about genuinely forgetting about keeping up with the Joneses. Finding a balance where you reduce expenses, but still genuinely enjoy your life, aligned with your values.
So where do people start looking?
There are tons of creative ways. Utilities, for example, electricity, water, gas. Small habit changes add up. Turn off lights, shorter showers, use the aircon or heater a bit less or more moderately.
Simple stuff.
Simple stuff. But also actively compare providers. It's often quick to switch, and companies frequently offer better deals to new customers. Spend an hour, maybe save hundreds a year.
Worth doing. What about bigger costs, like housing?
Housing is often the biggest chunk. Look for opportunities. Got a spare room? Maybe rent it out short-term on Airbnb if allowed, or longer-term to a student. Could you negotiate lower rent when your lease is up? If you own, could refinancing your mortgage save you money, especially if rates have dropped or your credit's improved? Even home maintenance, learn some basic DIY skills, get multiple quotes for bigger jobs. The key is just being proactive. Identify where money is flowing out without giving you a clear return in happiness or progress towards your goals.
Makes sense. Okay, finally, we absolutely have to talk about strategic debt management again, because while it's not saving in the traditional sense,
It frees up the cash flow to save.
exactly, it's about stopping the bleeding so you can start healing financially.
Precisely. And there are two main, widely recognized strategies for tackling debt faster. Each appeals to different psychological drivers. You've got the debt snowball method and the debt avalanche method.
Okay, break those down. Snowball first.
Right. The debt snowball, made famous by Dave Ramsey. Here, you list all your debts from the smallest balance to the largest, ignoring the interest rates for a moment. You make minimum payments on everything except the smallest debt. On that smallest one, you throw every extra dollar you can find.
Get it gone quickly.
Exactly. Once that smallest debt is paid off, boom, you get a quick win, a psychological boost. Then you take the entire amount you were paying on that smallest debt, the minimum plus all the extra, and roll it onto the next smallest debt. Creates this powerful snowball effect.
So it builds momentum.
Builds huge momentum and motivation. Even though mathematically you might pay a bit more interest overall compared to the other method, the psychological wins keep people going. It's about feeling progress.
Okay, and the avalanche method.
The debt avalanche is the flip side.
Okay.
Here, you list your debts by interest rate, from highest APR down to lowest, regardless of the balance size. You make minimum payments on everything except the debt with the absolute highest interest rate. You throw all your extra money at that one.
Tackling the most expensive debt first.
Exactly. Once that highest interest debt is gone, you move to the next highest. Mathematically, this is the most efficient way. It saves you the most money on interest charges over the long run because you're systematically eliminating the costliest debt first.
So one is psychological, one is mathematical. Which is better?
Honestly. The best method is the one you'll actually stick with.
Right. Consistency is key.
Totally. Choose the one that resonates with you. Do you need those quick wins to stay motivated? Snowball. Or are you driven by optimizing the math and saving the most interest? Avalanche. Pick one. Commit to it rigorously. And here's the crucial step. Once a debt is fully paid off, immediately, like the very next month, redirect that entire former debt payment amount straight into your emergency fund.
Don't just absorb it back into spending.
No. That's the magic move. Redirecting that freed up cash flow will significantly accelerate your emergency fund growth. It builds that financial cushion much, much faster. It really frees up your financial future.
Okay. We've really covered the how, haven't we? Lots of practical strategies there to build that emergency fund, fight back against our biases. But now, let's maybe zoom out a bit. Connect back to the deeper why.
The meaning behind it all.
Yeah. Why does saving money, beyond just having that buffer, why does it truly transform your life in these profound ways?
It's interesting, isn't it? There's this irony that many people miss. True wealth, fundamentally, it's what you don't see.
Hidden wealth.
Exactly. It's income not spent. It's an option you haven't taken yet to buy something later. This is so different from visible spending, the fancy car, the huge house, the luxury holidays.
Stuff people show off.
Right. And paradoxically, that visible spending often signals significant debt, not actual wealth.
Yeah.
People often aspire to be respected, admired, and they mistakenly think buying fancy stuff will get them there.
But it's often just projecting an image.
Often, yeah. True wealth is quieter. It's hidden. Its profound value lies in giving you freedom, options, flexibility, space for future growth. There's that saying, and it feels really relevant here. Humility, kindness, empathy, they'll bring you far more genuine respect and deeper connections than horsepower or square footage ever will.
Wealth is about resilience, not just flashiness.
Exactly. Wealth is the ability to withstand life's inevitable punches, not necessarily the ability to throw extravagant parties.
That's incredibly profound. So if wealth is what you don't see, and visible spending can be a trap, what then is money's highest dividend? What's the ultimate return?
Well, it's not about what it buys necessarily. It's about what it enables.
Which is?
The highest dividend money truly pays is the ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want. Control over your time.
Control over time.
Yeah. This brings us to a really powerful insight from the psychologist Angus Campbell. He studied happiness and well-being for years, and he stated that having a strong sense of controlling one's life is a more dependable predictor of positive feelings of well-being than any of the objective conditions of life we have considered.
Wow. More important than salary or house size or job title?
More dependable, yes.
Yeah.
That consistent, tangible control over your own time is perhaps the broadest lifestyle variable that reliably makes people happy. It's the ultimate luxury that money can buy.
That's a compelling idea. So let's make that concrete. What are the tangible day-to-day benefits of that kind of control that an emergency fund provides?
Okay, well, an emergency fund, that solid financial buffer, it means not having to live in fear of your boss. Because you know you won't be totally ruined if you need to take some time off to find a new job, one that aligns better with your values, or maybe just because you need a break for your mental health.
Give you options. Power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It means maybe being able to take a job that pays a bit less, but offers incredible flexibility, or has a much shorter commute, reclaiming hours of your life each week.
Time is valuable.
Incredibly. It means being able to handle a sudden medical emergency for you, your child, your pet, without the added crushing stress of worrying about how on earth you'll pay for it.
Takes away that layer of panic.
Completely. It means weathering unexpected repairs to your home or car without spiraling into high-interest debt. And ultimately, it means retiring when you want to, when you feel ready and fulfilled, instead of being forced to keep working just because you need the paycheck.
Retiring on your own terms.
On your own terms. Using your money to buy time, options, resilience that has a lifestyle benefit that few luxury goods can ever truly compete with.
That makes so much sense.
And this leads to a crucial point, often overlooked. You should save just for saving's sake sometimes.
Without a specific goal in mind.
Yeah. Save without a specific spending goal attached. Think of it as a hedge against life's inevitable ability to surprise the hell out of you at the worst possible moment.
Because surprises will happen.
They always do. Everyone's life is just a continuous chain of unexpected events and surprises.
Hmm.
And savings that aren't earmarked for anything specific, they provide that vital buffer, that psychological air gap, allows you to breathe when the unexpected hits.
Okay. This brings us to another critical concept in financial planning, one that's maybe understated. Endurance. Having room for error.
Yes, so important.
Because, like that saying goes, and it's so true in finance, the most important part of every plan is planning on your plan not going according to plan.
Couldn't agree more. Think about professional blackjack card counters. Even when they know they have a statistical edge, they never bet everything they have on one hand.
Too risky.
Way too risky. They need enough money, enough endurance to withstand the inevitable swings of bad luck, a series of unfavorable hands. You just can't bet your entire stake, even when the odds seem in your favor, because the world isn't that consistently kind or predictable.
You need a buffer.
You absolutely have to give yourself room for error. This concept is also called a margin of safety, or sometimes redundancy. And it's one of the most underappreciated forces and, frankly, true strengths in all of finance.
How does it show up?
It comes in many forms. Maintaining a frugal budget gives you flexibility. Cultivating a flexible, adaptive mindset helps. It's the only truly effective way to safely navigate a world governed by probabilities and odds, not certainties. It allows you to endure a whole range of potential outcomes, withstand the shocks and setbacks, and crucially, stick around long enough for your carefully considered odds and your consistent efforts to eventually fall in your favor.
It's about survival, being robust.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Being robust, not just aiming for maximum efficiency, which can be fragile. There's this fascinating, almost unbelievable historical anecdote that illustrates the danger of a single point of failure and why you need that room for error.
Oh, yeah.
Late 1942. A German tank unit with the most sophisticated tanks of the time was famously defeated, not by enemy forces,
But by what?
by common field mice.
Mice. Seriously.
Seriously. Nearly all their vehicles became inoperable because mice had chewed through and eaten the insulation off the electrical wiring systems inside the tanks,
Oh,
rendered them useless.
you couldn't make it up.
Right. It was a risk too crazy to cross their minds. It was completely outside their meticulous planning and contingencies. These kinds of unexpected, too weird to happen, single points of failure can be absolutely devastating, precisely because you have no plan for them, no margin of safety built in.
Wow. So how do we apply that room for error to our finances?
It means not just hoping for the best, but actively planning for things to be tougher. For instance, when projecting investment returns, don't just use the historical average. Assume future returns will be, say, 1/3 lower.
Build in pessimism.
Build in a buffer. Or when budgeting for a potential expense, maybe estimate it'll cost twice what you initially think. This creates both a psychological and a financial cushion. It ensures you'll still be okay, even if things don't go perfectly according to plan. Gives you invaluable peace of mind.
And if things go better than expected.
Then you're pleasantly surprised and even further ahead. It's about preparing for a range of outcomes, not just the best-case scenario.
That's a really powerful way to think about it. And speaking of the future, planning long-term, it can be harder than it seems, can't it? Because we change. Our goals, our desires, even our personalities evolve over time.
Oh, massively. What you want today might be very different from what you want in 5, 10, 20 years. Makes rigid, unbending plans quite tricky.
So how do we deal with that?
There's this phenomenon in psychology called the end of history illusion.
The end of history illusion.
Yeah. It's our common tendency to be very aware of how much we've grown and changed in the past, but to profoundly underestimate how much our personalities, our desires, our life goals will continue to change in the future.
We think we've arrived at the final version of ourselves.
Exactly. We mistakenly believe that who we are today and what we want today is largely fixed. This is me now. This cognitive bias makes those rigid, long-term financial plans really challenging because they often assume a static future self that just doesn't exist.
So what's the implication for planning?
It suggests that rather than pursuing extreme, all-or-nothing plans, like, say, living on incredibly low income for decades to save aggressively, or working insane hours for high income at the expense of your health and relationships.
Finding balance is key.
Balance at every point in your life becomes a crucial strategy. It helps you avoid future regrets. Because the benefits of an extreme plan, like maybe massive wealth accumulation, they tend to wear off once you achieve them. But the downsides, the sacrifices made along the way, missed time with family, burnt-out health, those can become enduring, deep regrets. You end up asking, was it really worth it?
So your financial plan needs flexibility.
It needs to be adaptable. It should provide flexibility to evolve with your evolving self, rather than trapping you in a past version of your goals or desires.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And finally, after digging into all these psychological complexities, all the practical strategies, we arrive at maybe the magic ingredient, the thing that makes it all truly work over the long haul.
The silent engine.
Compounding and patience.
Ah, yes. The eighth wonder of the world, as Einstein supposedly called it. Warren Buffett's secret to his absolutely extraordinary wealth. It's deceptively simple, almost boring, really, but profoundly true.
What is it?
His skill is obviously investing, but his true overarching secret, it's time.
Time in the market.
Time in the market, exactly. Effectively, all of Warren Buffett's financial success can be tied back to two key things. The significant financial base he meticulously built when he was young, in his teens, and early adult years.
Started early.
Started very early, combined with the unparalleled longevity he's maintained into his older years. That combination allowed his initial base to compound over an incredibly long time horizon, decades upon decades.
It's hard for our brains to grasp that exponential growth, isn't it?
Incredibly hard. The counterintuitive nature of compounding makes it so easy for us to overlook its astonishing power. We are much, much better at calculating simple addition in our heads than understanding exponential multiplication.
10 plus 10 is easy. 10 times 10, harder. 10 to the power of 10, mind-blowing.
Exactly. A small starting base, combined with consistent, even modest growth, plus an exceptionally long period of time, that can lead to truly extraordinary, almost unbelievable results.
So it's not about hitting home runs all the time.
No. Good investing, sustainable wealth building, it isn't primarily about earning high, flashy, unrepeatable returns that you maybe get lucky with once.
Yeah.
It's about earning pretty good, solid returns that you can consistently stick with through thick and thin, and which can be repeated for the longest possible period of time.
Consistency and time.
That's when compounding truly runs wild. It does the heavy lifting for you. Patience isn't just a virtue here. It's the fundamental enabler. It's what allows that magical force to unfold. It's the ultimate antidote, really, to that short-term thinking, that hyperbolic discounting we started with. Hashtag an outro.
Wow. Okay, what a journey we've been on today. Really covered a lot of ground.
We certainly did.
We started by facing that sometimes alarming reality of low savings. Then we really peeled back the layers of our own brain's wiring, didn't we? Exposed the power of hyperbolic discounting, FOMO, all those hidden forces making saving feel so hard.
Understanding the internal battle.
Exactly. Then we looked outwards at the modern spending traps, the frictionless world that kind of exploits those biases.
The external pressures.
But then, most importantly, we built up this fantastic toolkit of practical, actionable strategies, things people can actually use.
Real solution.
Yeah, from making your future self more real, harnessing that amazing power of automation, using commitment devices, even playfully using gamification, we've shown there are concrete ways to outsmart our impulsive brains.
There absolutely are.
And finally, we connected it all back to that deeper, life-transforming why, the benefits of saving. Not just a bigger bank balance, but genuine freedom, real resilience, and ultimately true control over your most precious asset, your time.
That's right. And the core message here, I hope, is really empowering. We are absolutely not slaves to our instincts. The fact that we can understand these biases, that we can name them, shine a light on them, it means we can finally start to fight back effectively.
Knowledge is power.
It truly is. We can be strategic. We can use our rational planning brain to thoughtfully outsmart our impulsive now brain. But remember, the goal isn't perfection. Please don't aim for perfection.
Progress, not perfection.
Exactly. There will be setbacks. There will be moments when your impulsive brain wins around. That's okay. It's normal. The real goal is consistent progress. Just being a little bit better today than yesterday, a little more mindful, a little more intentional.
It's a journey.
It really is. Think of your relationship with money like any important relationship. It needs time, it needs attention, it needs empathy, both for your past self and your future self. It needs ongoing cultivation, treat it with care, understand its dynamics, and it will serve you well.
So as you listening integrate these insights, we really encourage you, pick just one strategy we discussed today, just one thing, and put it into action.
Start small.
Yeah, maybe it's setting up one small automatic transfer to a separate savings account, maybe $10 a week. Perhaps it's just taking 5 minutes to really visualize your future self and what financial security would actually feel like for them. Or maybe just identifying one unused subscription to cancel today and redirecting that money.
Any step forward is progress.
Absolutely. And we genuinely want to hear from you. What stood out to you today? What's one specific step, however small, that you're going to take on your saving journey after listening to this? Share your experiences, your insights, maybe your questions with us on our website or our social media channels.
We love hearing those stories.
You really do. Your engagement, your stories, your questions, they truly help us all actively participate in the growth of this channel, making it a more valuable resource for everyone navigating these challenges.
And as you embark on this path, maybe ponder this deeper wisdom as a final thought. Your relationship with money, it isn't just about the numbers on a screen or the transactions or what you buy. At its deepest level, it's a profound reflection of your relationship with yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah, a reflection of your priorities, your fears, your hopes, your connection to your future, understanding that deep connection, that interplay between your money and yourself. That's perhaps the ultimate mastery of the psychology of money.